decipher Mitch's thought bubble as we look at the very beautiful Catherine Swain pool. And we start out this week looking at the interplay between the West and the East, beginning with Raining Tree making the long trek to French Creek to receive an ass spanking, 72-55. It was French Creek breaking a two-game losing streak, depending on me and Marvin Jones, as he went nuts, showing here three of his four touchdowns against a suddenly pretty good Minnesota football team, which is unfortunate. Anyway, that leaves the Harvesters just 2 games back in the West Division, even though with 4-3 they're still in last place. The Pokegama Pups also broke a 2-game losing streak and snapped Apple River's 5-game winning streak, 97-82. It was the Pups completely dependent upon, well, not completely. Josh Allen had a nice game for the Pups, wearing those red jammies uniforms for the Bills. 4 Mile, they had Aaron Rodgers, and we know what he looked like. Upper Turtle, 52, Aaron Rodgers, 49, all by himself. Aaron Rodgers, possibly the greatest quarterback in the history of the National Football League ever. 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 158.3, perfect passer rating, and just a .25 short of 50 fantasy football points. East River's hoping for a big night from Tom Brady on Monday night, and it just couldn't get that big as Horseshoe remains hot, going to 6-1 and being in first place in the West. East River broke their 1-game winning streak and go back to their wicked ways. For Horseshoe, it was this Walter Waller dude for Oakland. Never heard of him. So I was like, well, he's dissecting the Packers. I looked him up. Of course, frickin' Mitch has him and starts him. He almost had a touchdown here. This is a play where Derek Carr then went go and fumble. So that was a nice play there, kid. It's time to look at the North and South Division crossover. And unlike the Civil War, the South won 3-1 this week, as we once again look at Catherine Swain pool. I think she's from South Africa, I'm not sure though. Anyway, the one South team that did lose was last place Maple Grove, losing to first place Sand Lake, 105-70. Foles didn't have any outstanding efforts. He had no player score in the 20s, but he had every player contribute, as you could tell by looking at his box score. As usual, Hammer didn't have much of anything. Otter Bay, they fall, breaking their 2-game winning streak to South Doherty, 88-65. Both teams now 2-5. Memo to Trav, guys on byes usually don't score. Speaking of scoring, Doherty Creek, 106 points. Takes down Rabbit Trail without much problem, even missing Christian McCaffrey. Started both Packer backs scored. In fact, Aaron Jones makes a nice catch on this play. If he had caught it last week and dropped the one this week, it would be 6-1 instead of 5-2. But as it is, I'm glad he caught it this week. That was fun. So thank you, AJ. And then finally, Poskin. Clearly, Chucky's has nothing to do with what's going on right now, and Scott's running the team, because Poskin has won 3 in a row. Eagle Point continues to flop around. So good job, Scooter. Tell your dad at Christmas how well you did. Maybe you'll get more presents or something like that. And who is it? It's Jacoby Brissett, not their 2 vaunted running backs. Elliott had a good week. He had 21. But mostly it was the Jacoby show. So, a little more eye candy as we get ready to look at our standings. Let's start out with the East Division standings. The East Division overall is 12-16. This week going 2-2. The top 2 teams winning, top 2 bottom teams. Jesus, that makes sense. Bottom 2 top. Screw it. Pokegama remains in first place, getting a win, breaking a 2-game losing streak, 5-2. 4 Mile had a big week from A-Raj. Only a game out, only 16 points back. That's a dead heat. Raining Tree and East River both take losses, both hurting their chances this early in the season. So now we go to the North Division. The North Division suffered ignominious defeat this week, going 1-3 against the Trepid South. One team that did win, however, of course, was Sand Lake. Sand Lake is becoming one of the premier teams in the league, and they have opened up their lead. It was a good week for them because they now have a commanding 3-game lead over both Rabbit Trail and Eagle Point. Otter Bay is sniffing shark fin way back. Point-wise, Bulls picked up ground on all 3 teams as well, and so you other boys better get it going, or you'll be chasing the fin, and you're never gonna win. Kitty, kitty. Going out tonight, going to meet Fuzzy. Going out on a date with Fuzzy. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put this on for Fuzzy. I'm gonna roll around for Fuzzy. That's what she's thinking, I bet. Anyway, let's go now take a look at the South Division standings, where the top 3 teams all posted victories, as aforementioned. The one team that didn't, of course, was Maple Grove. They won last week. Must have been too lofty to continue that perch-seeking goal. So 228 points off the pace. They're playing for a second or third place game probably. Doherty Creek, Slamorama, 2-game lead over Poskin, 142 points in the tiebreaker. 3-game lead over South Doherty. And the West at 19-9, clearly the premier division in the Nbfl. French Creek gets a big win this week as they will be able to keep pace, especially with Upper Turtle and Apple River losing. They are 4-3, not that far back in the points. They can still make a run. 2 games back. Upper Turtle stays at 2 games back, goes to 2 games back. MJ's Apple River Hillbillies, they lose a game and drop out of a tie for first place, and Horseshoe just keeps it rolling. 35-point lead in the points, 1-game lead over Apple River. So let's get ready to take a look at point standings. Nice exercise program right there. My exercise is playing fantasy football. Anyway, let's take a look at overall points. Not a lot of movement on the bottom. The bottom 5 teams, in fact, stayed all in the exact same spots, but things are tightening up as far as moving up in the standings. Maple Grove still sucking titty. East River, Eagle Point. South Doherty is like dropped out like a comet, and French Creek, Rainy Tree, Rabbit Trail, Upper Turtle all make up the bottom of the overall points standings. Upper Turtle taking the most precipitous fall, scoring only 52 this week, dropping from 6th to 9th. Sorry for overusing the word precipitous. Anyway, going to the top division, Posket holds on to their 8th spot. 4 Mile cracks into the top 8, moving in from 11th. Otter Bay down a spot. Pekegama up 2 spots. And 121 back. Apple River and Sand Lake flop spots. Still very close. Horseshoe, of course, playing well. 44 back from Doherty Creek at 5-2 and leading south.
A house of Macon, Loretta singing on the radio.
One last look at the Angelic Catherine Swan Pool as we look at next week's action. It'll be Maple Grove traveling down to Raining Tree, up to Raining Tree. South Doherty will go up to Eagle Point. We have Posca taking on Sand Lake, seeing if they could keep their 3-game winning streak alive. Otter Bay will host Doherty Creek. See if they can get back on the winning ways. Otter Bay, that is. and Upper Turtle will go to East River. We got 4 Mile hosting Apple River. And Pokegama will host French Creek, former world champions, and then very hot Horseshoe Bucks will take on Tommy Warmberg's Reigning Tree Bullfrogs. This has once again been a production of the Northern Badger Football. Moffat and I both hope that you have a great week this week coming up. Stay in touch, everybody, and stay dry.